Hello, 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 my YouTube friends, my subscribers, my new subscribers, and my subscribers to be. Please click like, share, and subscribe so that I can come back with more commentary on this channel. I am the News Talk Show, and today my talk show is going to be about the young man, 21 years old, in Georgia, who was a serial rapist. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this story, but it was just something that I just couldn't believe it. It was about a 21-year-old handsome young man, tall, tan, and handsome young man, 21 years old, had the stature of a model, a very innocent face. I'm gonna get to those eyes later, but a very, very innocent face, and no one would suspect him. I know I wouldn't, of raping women. I mean, he could have had many women if he wanted to, the way he looked. But see, you can't tell by the way people look. It's the sick minds of individuals. So now, guess what, you guys? This young man went, because he did have the stature of a police officer, so he went and applied to become a police officer, and this was somewhere in Georgia, outside of Atlanta, somewhere in Georgia. And he went and applied at the police department, and he was hired and was in orientation. Now, he was in orientation, and I think he had been in for a minute. He had been in orientation. He was going and stuff, and then all of a sudden, he didn't show up one day, and I think it was like 4 hours or something like that he didn't show up. Now, what rapist in their right mind would go and commit a crime, go and apply at the police department, possibly so that they could probably rape more and get by with it, like that guy in Oklahoma did? Remember this tall, white, Caucasian guy that raped all the underprivileged black women, the hookers, the drug addicts, and he did that in a uniform? A lot of times people try to hide behind the badge and they do all this illegal stuff, but this stuff is catching up with them now. I don't care who you are. Judges, attorneys, rapists, lawyers, doctors, because there was even a doctor in Houston that got caught online for trying to solicit young underage girls. It doesn't matter what title someone wears, but in this young man's mind, he felt that I'm going to become a police officer and then they won't suspect me of the rape. Now, 8 women have been raped in the surrounding area, I think within a 2-mile radius, and they had been trying to find the person that committed these rapes. The person, which was this young man, he left his DNA behind. Now, that goes to tell you that was a crime of a youngster, because he didn't know anything about hiding his DNA, anything about wearing protection so that his DNA would not be found, and he lived near. Wasn't that a crazy person? He did not have, well, that was a play of a child. He did a child's act. He used a child's mind on that, because the average rapist, he's going to try and not leave DNA behind, and possibly he even oftentimes kill his people that he raped. This young man, he didn't kill the women that he raped. He didn't kill them. He didn't kill none of his victims. One lady, I think he smothered her or something like that. And all of these people that reported it, do you know, with that DNA, after, I think they started investigating, if I'm not sure, after he disappeared on them and didn't show up, those days that he was supposed to show up. I think I heard that he actually kind of disappeared for 4 hours, and he came up 4 hours, and they're like, where were you? And they were saying online, I was reading, they said possibly he probably was out raping somebody within that 4 hours, because it does not take a long time to rape somebody. Now, this young man, again, if you guys see the picture of him, it's a shame. It's a shame because they're going to rape him in jail. You know that. That young man, parents, looked like he was raised good. I mean, he looked like he was clean cut. He didn't look like he was on drugs. But one thing I noticed, that when he was sitting in court, his eyes worked that room. He was sitting still, but his eyes they were just talking, dancing all over. He made the whole circle within that court with his eyes and his head still. Just like a rapist. I mean, he had those serious eyes. His eyes scared me. And it was one eye that was still. You know, if you read people's eyes, it was one, it was real still, and the other one was kind of roaming around the room. That is really, really something. So he applied for the police department. He had gotten hired. And when he didn't, comply with the rules and regulations of being there for orientation, which is what police officers have to go through in order to become a police officer, they let him go. He was terminated. So I guess after he didn't show up, and they possibly got his address in that area and start, kind of like, let's check a little more into his background, because anytime a person applied for a police department, I would do the same thing. I would feel like, I hired you, gave you a job, and you 4 hours late for orientation, which is something that's very important, especially being a police officer, a man that's going to be supposedly wearing a badge, and you're going to be 4 hours late, and you know how serious this orientation is. That could be 4 hours that he could have missed out on something very, very important. But instead, he could have been out attempting to rape someone. And you know what really got me again was that it was all within a 2-mile radius, you guys. He didn't go outside of his little circle. I just don't know how he didn't get caught until then. Right around, he had to be a snake in the grass to not get caught, and you're within a 2-mile radius and even rape the girl kind of like next door to the other girl. And the ages they said was like 20 something to 35, I think, or 37, something like that, in that age range. So evidently he had to be following these girls in order to get them in that age range, because I didn't hear that he raped an old person. I didn't hear that. So that means that he had been watching these people in those areas. 21 years old. Now, he appeared to be 21 in the face, but because of his physique and his height, he could pass for older, even though he didn't look older, if you know what I'm trying to say. Height tends to give people a little, I wouldn't say age, but a little presence over their age, I would say, that height. So with him being tall, it's kind of like you almost couldn't pinpoint his age, or you would wonder, I wonder what age is he? I mean, he looked like he could have been a basketball player or any professional. He had a nice haircut. He had smooth skin. He had bright eyes. He didn't look like no crackhead. Didn't look like he smoked weed or drugs or take pills. Or he just looked like a clean-cut young man. And he was a serial rapist that was stupid enough to apply to become a police officer. So possibly he could commit more crimes. You guys, what is this world coming to? Let me know your thoughts on this rapist, this serial rapist. And now his young life is over. This man will be gone for life. All of these beautiful women out here that want him, that boy there could have went to Hollywood and made it with his looks. It's just unbelievable how people's minds are. I mean, why would he want to commit a crime like that? So he had to actually be a serial rapist in his mind, because he didn't want a girl his age, or possibly he could have had a girlfriend. We haven't heard that part yet, because you never know, and she may be devastated like we are. This young man could have had any young woman just about he wanted, with his height, his look, his stature. I mean, he had beautiful skin, pretty smile. He had his part. And so what happened, they had someone, those girls gave the sketch of him of how all of them pretty much said the same thing, because the picture that they drew of him was dead on him. It was him. It was a man. And I don't know if you guys saw that picture, but that picture next to his face, it was him. And those women just could not believe it. They couldn't believe it. That was him. And it could have been someone he knew. Some of the girls that he raped, it's not over yet. It hasn't all come out yet because he's in jail now. I'm not sure if he's out on bond yet, if anyone bailed him out. But you know what? I wonder what his parents say. He looked like he was raised well. He had a nice little haircut. You know how those young guys wear the little part, and he looked like he had a little design in his head. And oh my God. I feel for that mother, because if that was my son and turned out like that, and he had gotten away with 8, and it might be more that they don't know about. And now that can of worms is open and they got the rapist, they are going to probably check and see if he murdered anybody. Because it could have been someone that fought back. We don't know. We don't know. When people go out and commit these crimes like that, and somebody fight back. I think there was 2 sisters that did fight back on. I think I heard there was 2 sisters and one yelled for the other one and they beat him up or did something. I think I heard that. So, but I'm saying there could have been someone that was fighting back, could have been possibly older or weaker, and we don't know if he killed him or not. So anytime you're a rapist, and if you feel you're going to get caught, like those sisters, thank God she yelled for her sister. Because I think her sister lived next door or something, and she yelled for her. And I don't know how her sister heard her between the walls or something, but somehow her sister and her tend to get him away from them. And that was how I think they were able to give the sketch of how he actually looked. And he was smothering her, trying to smother her and everything. That is horrific. I wonder if he would have killed her if he was smothering her and she didn't fight back, you know? So that, when they said he was smothering her, that made me think, well, possibly he could have actually really killed somebody and smothered them to death. You know what I'm saying? He could have smothered them to death and nobody knows what happened. Because there are a lot of people come up missing and people just don't know what happened because of people that look like him. That's why my mom always say, never judge the book by its cover, because you just don't know what's on the inside of it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. The young man, 21 years old, I forgot his name, outside of Georgia. He was a serial rapist, and he had applied for a police officer position. And oftentimes, the police department do slip, because I would have probably checked his DNA out before I hired him. You see what I'm saying? Because I would have did a little swab on him or something and checked him out before. I mean, he was really bold, wasn't he? To go and apply for a police officer? My God. So they need to start doing DNAs on all the police officers and all the people that are in high positions. Start doing DNAs, and my God, we probably would be surprised, because people are something else. They put on a straight face and they sit behind a badge and they hide. They sit on the bench and they hide. You hear it every day. They sit in the pulpit and they hide the crimes. So let me know what you think about this, but I'm so happy they got that serial rapist from the same neighborhood. I can imagine, I couldn't imagine how these women feel in that neighborhood, knowing that this rapist had not been caught all of those, I think it was years they had been looking for him. I just can't imagine how you could be in that area and there's a rapist around and you don't know if he's going to tap on your door. That would make me just not sleep at all or move out of the neighborhood. And I mean, that sent women through a lot of worry. And I'm glad that's over for them. And I'm happy they got the rapist off the streets. And I feel bad for his parents, because it looked like he was well raised. You know, sometimes you can give your kids everything and they just turn around and hurt you. But it's something in their sick minds. And the parents didn't know they were sick, because they probably would have gotten help from them. They didn't know they had a sick child. There are a lot of people out there that are sick, and the parents just don't know it, because people want to think the best of their children. They really do. I remember my mom saying that. She said, you know what? She said, don't tell nobody, ever say that someone's kid is not attractive. She says, because every parent that love their kids think their kid is just as cute as the next kid. So don't ever try to look down on nobody that's not attractive. She said they could be a mongoloid, they could be retarded, they could be this, they could be that, but that is still that person's child. That is still that person's child. Just like that rapist is still his mother's child. And she did not know she had birthed a rapist. That is something else. Because had she known, she could have got him help long ago. So now he's in the system, and you know those guys in prison, they don't like rapists and they don't like child molesters. And I just don't know what to say about that one. I'm just happy he's off the streets. Please click like, share, and subscribe, and so I can come back with more commentary. I enjoyed bringing this to you, and I want to bring some more things to you. So thank you for tuning in to my News Talk show. Talk to you later. Okay, bye.